I knew why. He thought he had won. He thought in just a few days, he would have access to my money, my business, my entire life. He was celebrating his victory early. Sophia was acting strange too. She seemed nervous and excited at the same time. Once, I caught her looking at me with what I thought might be guilt. But then she smiled, and it was gone. At the office, I made sure everything was in order. I transferred all the important files to my personal laptop. I changed all the passwords to accounts that Sophia thought she had access to. I made backup copies of every design, every client contract, every piece of intellectual property that belonged to me. I also did something that felt good. I called the Dubai company back. "This is Elena Martinez," I said when the project manager answered. "I wanted to reach out about the headquarters design project you offered me a few months ago." "Ms. Martinez." The manager sounded surprised and pleased. "We were disappointed when you declined. Has something changed?" "Yes," I said. "My circumstances have changed significantly. If the offer is still available, I would love to discuss it further. I could start as early as next month." "The offer is absolutely still available. We haven't found anyone who matches your vision and talent. Can we schedule a video call for next week?" "Next week would be perfect," I said, checking my calendar. "How about Tuesday morning, Chicago time?" "Excellent. We'll send you the details." "Ms. Martinez, we're thrilled to have you reconsidering this opportunity." After I hung up, I felt a surge of hope. No matter what happened with David and Sophia, I had a future. A big, beautiful, international future that had nothing to do with either of them. The night before, Friday night arrived. The rehearsal dinner. The moment I had been planning for weeks. I spent the afternoon getting ready, taking my time with my hair and makeup. I chose a deep red dress, elegant and powerful. I looked at myself in the embezzlement, the client theft, the business conspiracy. It's all here. "And Amanda?" I asked. "Did you talk to her?" Marcus nodded. "I approached her 2 days ago and showed her the evidence of David and Sophia. She was devastated and furious. She had no idea David was engaged, let alone involved with Sophia. She thought she was his only girlfriend. Is she willing to help?" "She wants revenge as much as you do," Marcus said. "She's agreed to show up at the rehearsal dinner." I gave her the time and location. "Perfect," I said. I looked at the tablet in my hands, this device that contained the complete truth about David and Sophia's betrayal. "Thank you, Marcus, for everything." "You're welcome," he said. "And Elena? I've been doing this job for 15 years. I've seen a lot of people get betrayed, but I've never seen anyone handle it with as much strength and strategic thinking as you. Whatever happens next, you should be proud of yourself." His words meant more than he knew. For weeks, I had felt like a fool for not seeing the betrayal sooner. But now I realized I wasn't a fool. I was a survivor, and I was about to become a warrior. The final week, the week before the wedding, was surreal. I went through all the motions of a happy bride while knowing that everything was a performance. I had my final dress fitting. The dress was beautiful, an elegant ivory gown with lace details and a long train. The seamstress kept saying how lucky I was, how beautiful the wedding would be. I smiled and agreed, not telling her there wouldn't actually be a wedding. I confirmed arrangements with the venue, the caterer, the florist, the photographer. Everything was perfect for a ceremony that would never happen. David became increasingly affectionate during this final week. He brought me flowers. He took me to romantic dinners. He told me how much he loved me and how lucky he was to have me. The perfect life crumbles. Welcome to Twisted Heartstrings. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Twisted Heartstrings. Before we begin today's story, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Your support means everything to us. Today, I'm sharing a story that will shock you, inspire you, and remind you that sometimes the best revenge is simply the truth. Let me know in the comments which city you're watching from. I love seeing how far these stories travel. The woman who had everything. My name is Elena Martinez, and 6 weeks ago, I thought I had the perfect life. I was 34 years old, living in downtown Chicago in a beautiful apartment with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Lake Michigan. I owned a successful architecture firm that I had built from nothing over the past 8 years. My designs had won awards. My clients included some of the biggest names in real estate development. But the crown jewel of my perfect life was supposed to be my wedding. In exactly 6 weeks, I was going to marry David Chun, the man I had loved for 5 years. The man who had proposed to me on a beach in Hawaii with a ring that sparkled brighter than the sunset. The man who told me every single day that I was his everything. I should have known that when something seems too perfect, it usually is. The architecture of dreams. Let me take you back to the beginning, so you understand how far I fell and how high I climbed back up. I met David at a business conference 5 years ago. I was presenting my design for a sustainable housing project, and he was in the audience. After my presentation, he approached me with this incredible smile and said, "You just redesigned the way I think about development. Can I buy you coffee and pick your brain?" That coffee turned into dinner. Dinner turned into a weekend together. Within 3 months, we were inseparable. David was a real estate developer with big dreams and even bigger ambitions. He was handsome, charming, and driven. He came from a wealthy family in San Francisco, but he wanted to make his own mark in Chicago. We were the perfect power couple. His business sense combined with my creative vision created opportunities neither of us could achieve alone. We collaborated on several projects together. I would design the buildings, and he would develop them. Our first joint project was a boutique hotel in River North that became one of the hottest properties in the city. The second was a residential tower that sold out before construction even finished. People called us the Golden Couple. Magazine articles featured us. We were invited to every important event in the city. The business partner I trusted. 2 years into our relationship, I made a decision that would later haunt me. I brought on a business partner named Sophia Reed. She was talented, ambitious, and seemed to share my vision for the company. She had connections I didn't have and brought in several major clients. Sophia was 31 years old, beautiful in that effortless way some women are, with long dark hair and the kind of confidence that filled every room she entered. She dressed in designer clothes and always seemed to know exactly what to say to charm clients. David liked her immediately. "She's perfect for the business," he told me. "With her connections and your talent, Martinez and Associates is going to become Martinez and Reed, the biggest firm in Chicago." I was so happy. My business was growing. My relationship was strong. Sophia and David got along great, which made business dinners and social events so much easier. I felt blessed to have both of them in my life. I was so blind. The Dubai opportunity. 6 weeks before the wedding, everything started to change. I received an email that should have been the opportunity of a lifetime. A massive development. Company in Dubai wanted to hire me to design their new headquarters, a 75-story tower that would redefine their skyline. The project would pay $3 million. It would take 8 months and require me to spend at least 4 months in Dubai, with frequent travel back and forth. I was thrilled. This was the kind of project architects dream about their entire careers. I rushed home to tell David, expecting him to be as excited as I was. Instead, he frowned. 8 months? 4 months in Dubai? Elena, we're getting married in 6 weeks. This is terrible timing. I know, I said, my excitement dimming. But this is huge, David. This could put my firm on the international map. Our wedding is huge too, he said, taking my hands. You've been so stressed with the planning. Maybe this is a sign that you need to slow down, focus on us, on starting our family. Starting our family. We had talked about having children, but always as something for the future. Now he was making it sound immediate. What if I postponed the Dubai project? I suggested. Just until after the wedding and honeymoon. He shook his head. Elena, these opportunities come to other people. You've already made it. You don't need to prove anything anymore. Besides, Sophia can handle the firm while we focus on our life together. Something felt wrong about his response, but I pushed the feeling away. He was right, wasn't he? We were getting married. I was being selfish thinking about my career instead of our future together. I emailed the Dubai company and declined their offer. They were disappointed but understanding. They said if I ever changed my mind to contact them. That decision would later prove to be a blessing in disguise. Strange behavior begins. After I turned down Dubai, David's behavior started to change in small ways. Little things that I noticed but tried to explain away. He started working late more often. When I would call him at his office, his secretary would say he had already left, but he wouldn't arrive home for another 2 hours. When I asked where he was, he'd say he was meeting with investors or checking on construction sites. His phone became his constant companion. He would take it everywhere, even to the bathroom. If it buzzed while we were together, he would glance at it and quickly put it away, saying it was just work emails. He became less interested in physical intimacy. We went from making love several times a week to maybe once every 2 weeks. When I tried to initiate, he would say he was tired or stressed about a deal he was working on. But the worst part was how distracted he seemed. We would be having dinner, and I would catch him staring off into space with this little smile on his face. A smile I used to think was for me. Now I wondered who he was thinking about. Sophia's distance. At the same time, Sophia started acting strange too. She had always been warm and friendly, but suddenly she became cold and professional. She stopped joining me for our usual lunch meetings. She would arrive at the office early and leave late, avoiding conversations that weren't about work. When I asked if something was wrong, she would smile tightly and say, "Just busy with clients. You know how it is." But I noticed other things. She started dressing differently, more provocatively. She wore perfume that seemed familiar, but I couldn't place where I had smelled it before. She would take long phone calls in her office with the door closed, and when she emerged, her cheeks would be flushed. I tried to tell myself I was being paranoid. The wedding stress was making me see problems where there were none. But deep down, my intuition was screaming that something was very, very wrong. The earring that changed everything. The first real evidence came on a Tuesday evening, 3 weeks before the wedding. David had been at a business dinner that ran late. He came home around midnight, kissed me quickly, and went straight to bed saying he was exhausted. The next morning, I needed to get something from his car. We shared parking spaces in our building's garage, and I occasionally borrowed his BMW when my car was being serviced. I opened the passenger door to grab my sunglasses that I had left there the previous week. That's when I saw it. A small, delicate diamond earring sitting on the passenger seat. It glinted in the morning light, mocking me with its presence. I picked it up with shaking hands. It wasn't mine. I didn't own anything like this. It was expensive, the kind of jewelry that costs thousands of dollars. The kind of jewelry a man buys for a woman he wants to impress. My heart was pounding as I walked back upstairs. David was in the shower, getting ready for work. I stood in our bedroom, holding that earring, feeling my perfect world start to crack. When he came out, towel around his waist, I held it up. "David, I found this in your car." He barely glanced at it. "Oh, that must be from the dinner last night." Sarah Kim was there, one of the investors. She mentioned she lost an earring. I told her I'd look for it. "Sarah Kim," I said slowly. "Yeah, you've met her. She invested in the River North project 2 years ago." I had met Sarah Kim. She was in her 50s, happily married, and wore large gold hoops, not delicate diamond studs. But I didn't say that. Instead, I nodded and placed the earring on his dresser. "You should get it back to her." He smiled, kissed my forehead, and said, "You're the best. What would I do without you?" I watched him get dressed, this man I thought I knew, and realized I was looking at a stranger. The investigation begins. That earring haunted me. I couldn't stop thinking about it. That night, after David fell asleep, I did something I had never done before. I went through his phone. He had changed his passcode. It used to be my birthday. Now it was something else. I tried several combinations, getting more desperate with each failed attempt. Finally, I tried Sophia's birthday, just on a hunch. The phone unlocked. My stomach dropped. Why would his passcode be Sophia's birthday? I opened his messages, my hands trembling so badly I could barely hold the phone. There were texts from Sophia. Lots of them. I started reading, and with each message, my heart broke a little more. "Can't wait to see you tonight. Wear that cologne I love." She has no idea. She's too busy with wedding planning to notice anything. After the wedding, we can finally be together. Just a few more weeks. I love you. I've never felt this way about anyone. The messages went back 8 months. 8 months of lies. 8 months of betrayal. 8 months of my fiancé sleeping with my business partner while I planned our wedding. But it got worse. So much worse. The business betrayal. As I scrolled through the messages, I found something even more devastating than the affair. David and Sophia weren't just sleeping together. They were planning to steal my business. One message from Sophia read, "I've been copying all the client files and design plans. After you're married and she adds you to the business accounts like she promised, we can transfer everything to our new company. She'll be so heartbroken about us that she won't even fight it. She'll just want it all to go away." David's response, "Perfect. I've already got the lawyers setting up Chun and Reed development. We'll offer her clients better rates to switch over. With her designs and our connections, we'll bury her." She'll be too destroyed to compete. Another message from David. I've been moving money from our joint account into my business account. She never checks the statements. By the wedding, I'll have transferred about $200,000. That plus the money from her half of the business will be enough to launch properly. I sat on the bathroom floor, reading message after message, learning exactly how they planned to destroy me. They were going to wait until after the wedding, until I added David to my business accounts as my husband, until I was legally and emotionally vulnerable. Then they would strike. They weren't just betraying me. They were planning to take everything I had built, everything I had worked for, and use it to start their own empire while leaving me with nothing. The moment of decision. I don't know how long I sat on that bathroom floor. Time seemed to stop. My entire world had been revealed as a lie. The man I loved didn't love me. My trusted business partner was a thief. My beautiful wedding was just a trap. I had two choices. I could confront them right now. Scream, cry, throw things, burn it all down in a blaze of emotion. Or I could be smart. If I confronted them now, they would deny everything. They would say I was stressed, reading too much into innocent messages. David would sweet-talk me, Sophia would cry and apologize, and I would end up looking crazy. They would change their plans, hide their tracks, and I would have lost my only advantage, knowing what they were planning. No, I needed to be strategic. I needed to document everything. I needed to protect my business and my assets. And then, when the time was right, I needed to destroy them both so completely that they would never recover. I stood up, looked at myself in the mirror, and made a decision. I was going to let them think they had won. I was going to play the perfect, oblivious bride. And then, at the moment they least expected it, I was going to show them exactly what happens when you betray Elena Martinez. I took screenshots of every message. I carefully put David's phone back exactly where he left it. I climbed back into bed next to him. This man who was stealing from me, lying to me, planning to ruin me. And I smiled in the darkness. Because they had made one critical mistake. They had underestimated me. The act begins. The next morning, I woke up and played my part perfectly. I made David his favorite breakfast. I kissed him goodbye. I told him I loved him. At the office, I greeted Sophia with a warm smile. Good morning. I was thinking we should go over the Johnson project today. Are you free for lunch? She looked surprised, maybe even a little guilty. Sure. Lunch sounds good. Perfect, I said brightly. I also wanted to tell you something exciting. David and I decided that after the wedding, I'm going to add him to the business accounts. He's going to help with the financial side of things. Isn't that great? Sophia's eyes lit up. That's wonderful, Elena. Really wonderful. I bet she thought it was wonderful. She probably texted David the moment I left her office. Over the next few days, I played the role of the happy, trusting bride. But behind the scenes, I was preparing for war. I contacted a lawyer without telling anyone. I started copying files and documents. I opened a new bank account and began transferring my personal money to where David couldn't access it. I changed passwords on everything important. I documented every suspicious moment, every late night, every lie. And I started planning something that would change all of our lives forever. The wedding was in 3 weeks. David and Sophia thought they had 3 weeks until they could destroy me. They had no idea that I was counting down too. But my countdown was leading to something very different than what they expected. Part 2. The revenge plan unfolds. Welcome back to Twisted Heartstrings. Welcome back to Twisted Heartstrings. If you're new here, make sure to watch Part 1 first so you understand how we got here. For those of you who've been waiting, thank you for coming back. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Today, Elena begins her master plan. Let's see how she turns the tables on the people who tried to destroy her. Building the case. The day after I discovered David and Sophia's betrayal, I did something I never thought I would do. I hired a private investigator. His name was Marcus Riley, and he came highly recommended by my lawyer, a sharp woman named Jennifer Park who specialized in business fraud and divorce cases. Marcus was nothing like the private investigators you see in movies. He wasn't wearing a trench coat or hiding behind newspapers. He was a former police detective in his early 40s, professional and calm. When we met at a quiet coffee shop far from my neighborhood, he listened to my story without judgment. I need to know everything, I told him. Every meeting, every lie, every plan they have. I need evidence that will hold up in court and destroy them professionally. Marcus nodded, taking notes. I understand. But I need to be honest with you, Elena. What you're about to see might hurt more than what you already know. Are you sure you want to go down this road? I looked him straight in the eye. I'm already hurt. Now I want justice. Then let's get you justice, he said. Over the next 2 weeks, Marcus became my shadow weapon. He followed David and Sophia. He documented their meetings. He installed tracking software on my business computers with my lawyer's approval, since I own the company. He helped me create a digital trail of everything they were doing. What he found was worse than I imagined. The third woman. 1 week into the investigation, Marcus called me with news that made my blood run cold. Elena, you need to sit down for this. I was at home, alone. David was supposedly at a construction site meeting. What did you find? David isn't just having an affair with Sophia, Marcus said carefully. There's another woman. Her name is Amanda Foster. She's 26 years old, works as a hostess at that upscale restaurant downtown, Morton Steakhouse. He's been seeing her for about 3 months. I felt like I had been punched in the stomach. 3 months? But he's been with Sophia for 8 months. So he's been juggling both of them. Plus you, Marcus said quietly. 3 women at the same time. I have photos of him with Amanda. Dinner dates, hotel visits, the whole thing. And Elena, there's more. He's been telling Amanda that he's going to leave his controlling fiancée after the wedding when he gets access to your money. I sat in silence, processing this information. David wasn't just a cheater. He was a serial manipulator who was using multiple women for different purposes. Me for my money and business. Sophia for her connections and to steal my company. Amanda for whatever shallow thrill she provided. Does Sophia know about Amanda? I asked. I don't think so, Marcus said. From what I can tell, Sophia believes she's the only affair. She thinks after the wedding, David will divorce you and they'll be together. A dark thought crossed my mind. Marcus, can you get proof that Amanda will believe? Photos, videos, evidence that shows David and Sophia together? I already have it, he said. I photograph everything. Why? Because I think Amanda deserves to know the truth too, I said. And I think her presence at the right moment could be very useful. Marcus was quiet for a moment. Then he said, You're not just planning to expose them, are you? You're planning to orchestrate a complete destruction. They tried to destroy me, I said simply. I'm just returning the favor. The financial investigation. I was at home, alone. David was supposedly at a construction site meeting. What did you find? David isn't just having an affair with Sophia, Marcus said carefully. There's another woman. Her name is Amanda Foster. She's 26 years old, works as a hostess at that upscale restaurant downtown, Morton Steakhouse. He's been seeing her for about 3 months. I felt like I had been punched in the stomach. 3 months? But he's been with Sophia for 8 months. So he's been juggling both of them. Plus you, Marcus said quietly. 3 women at the same time. I have photos of him with Amanda. Dinner dates, hotel visits, the whole thing. And Elena, there's more. He's been telling Amanda that he's going to leave his controlling fiancée after the wedding when he gets access to your money. I sat in silence, processing this information. David wasn't just a cheater. He was a serial manipulator who was using multiple women for different purposes. Me for my money and business. Sophia for her connections and to steal my company. Amanda for whatever shallow thrill she provided. Does Sophia know about Amanda? I asked. I don't think so, Marcus said. From what I can tell, Sophia believes she's the only affair. She thinks after the wedding, David will divorce you and they'll be together. A dark thought crossed my mind. Marcus, can you get proof that Amanda will believe? Photos, videos, evidence that shows David and Sophia together? I already have it, he said. I photograph everything. Why? Because I think Amanda deserves to know the truth too, I said. And I think her presence at the right moment could be very useful. Marcus was quiet for a moment. Then he said, You're not just planning to expose them, are you? You're planning to orchestrate a complete destruction. They tried to destroy me, I said simply. I'm just returning the favor. The financial investigation. While Marcus tracked David's personal life, my lawyer Jennifer was helping me untangle the financial mess. We discovered that David had been stealing from me for months. He had transferred over $250,000 from our joint accounts into his personal business accounts. He had used my name to secure loans that he then funneled into his own projects. He had even taken out a credit card in my name without my knowledge and racked up $80,000 in charges. This is identity theft and fraud, Jennifer said, spreading the documents across her desk. We can have him arrested right now if you want. Not yet, I said. I want everything documented, but I don't want to tip him off. Can we freeze the accounts without him knowing? Jennifer smiled, the smile of a lawyer who loves a challenge. I can do better than that. I can set up new accounts in your name only, transfer your assets there, and leave the joint accounts with just enough money that he won't notice anything wrong until it's too late. By the time your wedding day arrives, he'll think he has access to everything when really he has access to nothing. Do it, I said. Over the next week, Jennifer performed financial magic. She moved my money to protected accounts. She put holds on the fraudulent credit cards. She even discovered that David had been planning to take out a massive loan against my business property the day after our wedding. He was going to put your company $500,000 in debt, Jennifer explained. Then he and Sophia were going to drain the accounts and declare bankruptcy, leaving you personally liable for everything. The cruelty of it took my breath away. They weren't just planning to steal my business. They were planning to destroy my entire financial life. But now I had evidence of everything. Every transfer, every forged signature, every illegal transaction. And it was all documented and ready to be presented to authorities. While Marcus tracked David's personal life, my lawyer Jennifer was helping me untangle the financial mess. We discovered that David had been stealing from me for months. He had transferred over $250,000 from our joint accounts into his personal business accounts. He had used my name to secure loans that he then funneled into his own projects. He had even taken out a credit card in my name without my knowledge and racked up $80,000 in charges. This is identity theft and fraud, Jennifer said, spreading the documents across her desk. We can have him arrested right now if you want. Not yet, I said. I want everything documented, but I don't want to tip him off. Can we freeze the accounts without him knowing? Jennifer smiled, the smile of a lawyer who loves a challenge. I can do better than that. I can set up new accounts in your name only, transfer your assets there, and leave the joint accounts with just enough money that he won't notice anything wrong until it's too late. By the time your wedding day arrives, he'll think he has access to everything when really he has access to nothing. Do it, I said. Over the next week, Jennifer performed financial magic. She moved my money to protected accounts. She put holds on the fraudulent credit cards. She even discovered that David had been planning to take out a massive loan against my business property the day after our wedding. He was going to put your company $500,000 in debt, Jennifer explained. Then he and Sophia were going to drain the accounts and declare bankruptcy, leaving you personally liable for everything. The cruelty of it took my breath away. They weren't just planning to steal my business. They were planning to destroy my entire financial life. But now I had evidence of everything. Every transfer, every forged signature, every illegal transaction. And it was all documented and ready to be presented to authorities. Sophia's embezzlement. While investigating David, we discovered that Sophia had been running her own criminal enterprise. She had been embezzling money from our company for over a year. It started small, a few $1,000s here and there, buried in expense reports for fake business trips and client dinners that never happened. But over time, it grew bolder. She had been creating fake vendor accounts and paying them for services never rendered. The money would go to these fake companies, which were actually just accounts she controlled. In total, she had stolen nearly $180,000 from Martinez and Associates. How did I not see this? I asked Jennifer, feeling stupid and angry at myself. Because you trusted her, Jennifer said kindly. And she was smart about it. She buried the transactions in legitimate expenses. She created real-looking invoices and paperwork. You're not a forensic accountant, Elena. You're an architect. You trusted your partner to handle finances honestly. Never again, I muttered. Jennifer pulled out another folder. There's more. Sophia has been meeting with your clients behind your back. She's been telling them that you're planning to retire after your wedding, that you're going to close the firm. She's been offering to continue their projects under a new company she's forming with David. 3 of your biggest clients have already signed preliminary agreements to switch. I felt rage building inside me. Which clients? She showed me the names. The Riverside Development Project, a $20 million job. The Northwestern University expansion, a prestigious $15 million contract. And the Chicago Arts Center renovation, a project I had fought for years to win. These were my dream projects. My legacy work. and Sophia was stealing them. Can we stop her? I asked. Already done, Jennifer said with satisfaction. I've sent cease and desist letters to all 3 clients, informing them that Sophia has no authority to negotiate on behalf of Martinez and Associates and that any agreements signed with her are void. I've also informed them of the theft and fraud investigation. They're all backing out of their agreements with her. What was their reaction? Shock and anger. They're demanding meetings with you personally. They want to make sure their projects are secure. I smiled for the first time in days. Schedule the meetings for the week after my wedding day. Tell them I'll personally ensure every project is completed perfectly. Jennifer raised an eyebrow. The week after your wedding? You're still going through with it. Oh, I'm going through with it, I said. Just not the way David and Sophia expect. Setting the perfect trap. With all the evidence gathered, it was time to set my trap. I had 2 weeks until the wedding, and I needed to make David and Sophia feel completely confident that their plan was working. I started by doing exactly what they wanted. I called David at work one afternoon, my voice excited and sweet. Honey, I've been thinking. I want to add you to all my business accounts before the wedding. I know we said we'd do it after, but you've been so helpful with advice, and we're going to be married anyway. Why wait? There was a pause, then David's voice, thick with fake emotion. Elena, that's so sweet. Are you sure? That's a big step. I'm sure, I said. You're going to be my husband. I trust you completely. Besides, Sophia suggested it too. She said it would make managing the business easier if you had access to everything. Sophia suggested it. He tried to sound casual, but I could hear the excitement underneath. Yeah, we had lunch yesterday, and we're talking about business planning. She's been so supportive of us. She's a good friend, David said, and I had to stop myself from laughing at the irony. So I'll have my lawyer draw up the papers, I continued. We can sign them at the rehearsal dinner. That way it's all official before the wedding. That sounds perfect, baby. I love you so much. I love you too, I lied smoothly. As soon as I hung up, I texted Jennifer. He took the bait. Prepare the fake documents. What David didn't know was that the papers I was having prepared looked real, but were completely worthless. They had subtle legal errors that made them invalid. He would sign them thinking he had access to everything, but legally he would have access to nothing. Meanwhile, the real accounts were already protected and in my name only. The rehearsal dinner setup. The rehearsal dinner was scheduled for the Friday night before the Saturday wedding. I had chosen the venue carefully, an elegant restaurant called the Signature Room on the 95th floor of the John Hancock Building. The room had floor-to-ceiling windows with spectacular views of Chicago. It was beautiful, romantic, and most importantly, it had excellent acoustics. Every word spoken in that room could be heard clearly across the space. I invited 60 people, our immediate families, the wedding party, close friends, and key business associates. I made sure to invite several of my biggest clients and competitors. I wanted witnesses to everything that was about to unfold. David and Sophia thought the rehearsal dinner was just a formality. They had no idea it was actually the opening act of their destruction. 3 days before the dinner, I met with Marcus one final time. He handed me a tablet containing everything he had gathered: photos, videos, financial records, text messages, emails. 2 months of investigation compiled into an undeniable mountain of evidence. This is everything, he said. David and Sophia's affair, documented in explicit detail. David and Amanda's affair, same thing. The financial fraud.